Okay, so 3 times Om, Sahana Bhavatu. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Okay, Chema. I'll chant the Shanti mantra first. Om Bhadram Karnebhih Shrunuyama Devaha Bhadram Pashye Makshabhirya Jatraha Sthirairangai Stushtuvagan Sastanubhihi Vyashema Devahitai Yadayuhu Swasti na Indro Vruddhashravaha Swasti na Pusha Vishvavedaha Swasti nastarshyo arishtanemihi Swasti no bruhaspatir dadhatu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Okay. So we were looking at in this Prashna Upanishad, 6 disciples approach the teacher and stay there for 1 year with full of sadhana, penance, discipline and faith. And as a result, there is a very good rapport between student and the teacher. The teacher is pleased with the students. Students are also satisfied with the teacher's caliber or teacher's wisdom, the transactional wisdom. And now students are, having their own turn to ask the question. They ask the question about the creation, how the creation came about, and that Prajapati created the Rai and Prana, the dual, and that duality is following or percolating entire universe in form of male, female, in form of sun, moon, in form of day, night, in form of Dakshinayan, Uttarayan, etc. So in terms of the space, in terms of the time, in terms of the genders, this duality just percolates everywhere. And that's what we see the reality of this creation. Followed by this creation explanation, the second student is also asking the question about the individual and what force is beholding or prime important in this individual, which is taking care of or beholding this body or this body-mind complex. And eventually it came out that prana is the one which beholds this body, prana is supreme among all different devatas or faculties, and the same prana is also substratum of this relative universe. So not only individual but the total level also this prana only is taking care of. So that also we have seen. And in the third query, same prana related question also comes, and that also bunch of questions, total 6 of them, that how prana enters this body, how sustains, how leaves the body, how the prana is taking care of the external and internal, like that. And we have seen that based on prarabdha, based on one's own sankalpa, mental sankalpa, the thought, the prana enters particular body, subdivides into 5, takes one agency or one portfolio with him, which is like a respiration system, and then another is like a vyana, udana, samana, and apana. The apana vayu is taking care of excretion, udana vayu is taking care of reversing system, vyana vayu is a circulatory system, and samana vayu takes care of the digestive system. And this is how the physiological function of this body is operating. All is prana only, which is subdivided into 5 to manage the all different various functions. And now very interesting aspect comes that the same prana also is available, or it exists in a total also. The same way, the way it is also taking care of the individual, the same way the total is also taken care of. Means there is a pairing over here also. Okay, that's very important one. There is a pair. A pair is already there. Okay. And before we go into pair, one important aspect about this prana, the origin of prana. And origin of prana is self, the consciousness principle. And which way it originated? Like a shadow of the object.
You're not calling prana the self.
No, prana is not a self. Prana is not a self. At this level, prana, this level means now we are looking at the source of prana, what exactly prana is, right? Where prana came from. When we are looking at it that level, prana is not a self. Okay, prana, if we compare with the self, prana is a maya. That in that aspect it comes, it's a power, it's an energy, yes. But when we are looking at the nature of existence, it doesn't exist on its own. Okay, prana is, it is experienced, just like a shadow is, it is experienced. But when we inquire the nature of shadow, what we find that it doesn't have its own existence. There is a borrowed existence. The existence is there, okay, we accept, which is borrowed existence, borrowed from the object. The same way here also prana is having a borrowed existence. So original existence is of self only, and that way self alone exists in terms of existence principle. Okay, so that's the difference. So the prana originated from the self, like a shadow originated from the object. That way we have to see. So that's important aspect about the origin or cause of the prana. And within area of play or within the universe, the prana subdivides into 5 in this body, takes care of this body, takes care of the universe also. That fact is there in its own place. Means the level changes, the way we look at prana changes. That way we have to see. Okay. So that all different aspects we have seen. That Vyana also, like in this body, there are 72 crore nadis. Through that nadis, Vyana just moves about, And now, the another important one, what I just told, that how the prana is also taking care of samashti or the total in verse 8 we were looking at. So section 3, mantra 8. I'll chant. Adityo havai bahyaf pranaha udayati esha hi ena chakshusham pranam अनुगृह्णमानः पृथिव्यां या देवता स एषा पुरुषस्य अपानम् अवष्टभ्य अंतरा यद आकाशः स समानो वायुः व्यानः. Okay, so from here, in this point now, Shruti is talking about this prana now taking care of the samashti. Now important aspect comes over here, that the way prana subdivides into 5, total 5 in this body, same division is there in the total also. Okay, there is the same division there in the total also. So one is internal that we have seen, now external also. So the way there is an internal prana, apana, vyana, udana, samana, same way there is external prana, apana, vyana, udana and samana in the cosmos level. Okay, so at vyashti level manifestation of prana and at samashti or total level manifestation of prana is being explained over here. Okay, and how we can recognize them? So Shruti says Adityo havai bahyah pranah. Aditya, sun god. Okay, the sun. That indeed is external, bahya, external prana. Okay, that's what it says. Internal prana we know, the respiratory system and taking care of the eyes, ears, nostrils, mouth, etc. That's the face as area. Okay, so in externally, the vyashti and samashti creation, how the prana is taking care of, So says that samashti prana is nothing but Aditya. And then further says, Hi enam chakshusham pranam. This Aditya only, this sun only blesses the individual prana. See, just like a small bucket. A small bucket is getting water, from the tap. So naturally there must be like a big tank up there from which the water is coming and filling the bucket. So same way here also, that individual which is tiny little, is getting its own resource from the total. Is getting its own resource from the total. So now we are looking at the total level 5, which nourish the individual level 5. Okay, this is how it should be seen. So it says chakshusham pranam. Chakshusham again eye. See, eye only perceive when there is a light. When there is a light means a sunlight is there. Even we compare the moonlight, the moon is also nothing but the shadow or the reflection of the sun. Okay, so ultimately there is a sunlight through which I can see. And chakshusho devata suryaha, that also has been seen, that for eye, who is a presiding deity, the Surya. Okay, the sun. Okay, so Aditya blesses the prana, and that way jiva can function. Sun blesses the prana, and that way jiva can function. And that's why now it's proven also that our existence is depending on the sun. Without sun we cannot exist. Okay, that's also proven now. Okay, so the blessing, not only the eye's perception only, but also the living itself. Okay, That's one. So local level, the prana, the total level, Aditya or sun. Now the second goes, Pruthivyam ya devata. Purushasya apanam avashtabhya tishtati. Now, there is see here, it's not, the very first thing we need to keep in mind that it's not only the gross object we are talking about. That's why Aditya is, we call sun god, Surya Devata. Means that sentient principle which is manifesting through the fireball we call sun or the planet. We are talking about that sentient principle. So we address always there. Okay. The same way here, Pruthivyam ya devata. Okay. See, the devata is what is there in the mantra itself. So that Prithvi means earth. So earth doesn't literally mean that inert mass of rocks and sands, etc. No. It is the same as the body we are having also. The person doesn't mean that only that hands and legs and all the skin, etc. We are addressing the individual through this body, isn't it? That much sentiency we have. Okay. So here also the same sentiency or maybe subtlety is needed because we don't see movement like we have in our body. Over here also that sentient principle which is manifesting or expressing through this earth. The earth devata. That's why in our culture that Prithvi is also called Devi. It's called Devi. Like that. Prithvi Mata. Like that also is there. So it's not just mere the rocks and soil, but it's a sentient principle we are talking about over here as well. And that is told here that Pruthivyam ya devata purushasya apanam avashtabhya tishtati. Means this Prithvi devata supports individual apana. Individual apana. The Aditya devata supports individual prana. Prithvi devata supports individual apana. See, because one explanation can be this way: the udana is taking upwards, is the upward vayu, and to counter upward, there needs a downward, which is apana, and that's why we can be steady. Otherwise, we also float in the air like a balloon. Okay. So, what is the total apana? The total apana, upon a total level, is gravitational pull. Is a gravitational pull. And individual apana is what we have that force going downwards. That one. This is how we need to connect. The Shruti says that whatever is inside, it is up there, out there also, at total level. Now we connect both and see that there is already a harmony. Out of my own ignorance and again the stupidity, I feel I and the world, I am different and world is different, all this. Because of my own ignorance, my own some conditioning. So here, this kind of understanding will break that conditioning. It is very, very important. Okay. So, Prithvi Devata is a samashti apana, or it's supposed, or it's nourishes the individual apana. That way. Okay. And further is that atha antara yat akashah sa samana bhavati. Now that's another important one. That antara akasha means the space. Okay. The space, antariksha. Okay. The space what we see up above the earth, that is total samana. Total samana vayu. Whereas And individual samana vayu is at that middle portion of the body. Okay, the same way the antariksha, the middle portion, is also called total samana, and that nourishes this. Means total nourishes the individual. Okay, so that is also the case. And the fourth one, vayuhu vyanaha bhavati. The fourth comparison, how we can see that vyana, which travels across the body, that is individual, and the total level is a vayu, the air, which travels everywhere across the globe, and that is a total vyana, which supports the individual vyana. So there is already the link. See, vayu, if we just see that the breeze coming, but the power of the breeze, power behind the breeze, that we can connect more to understand it better. And again, in our culture, vayu is also called devata, vayu devata. So that much level of sentiency, if sentiency is lacking, at least to fill it, to fill the gap, we must have the faith. Varuna Devata is a rainwater. Here Vayu Devata. So that much faith is necessary just to appreciate the sentiency principle in this different elements as well. Okay. And see, in a great sages, even in a Ma also, Ma's case also, they know that she had a lot of such experiences where that some connection or some call or some even reciprocation to the earth, to the water, to different element was there.
There were big storms, and she was really relishing these huge storms in the little tiny boat. So it was like she was connected with all the energy and the rain and the wind.
So that's what, like that, the normal person will be frightened for life, but over here we don't see at all. Why? Because there is no fear factor. Of course, this is a shining knowledge, is a oneness. There is no fear factor at all. Then why to get frightened? Okay, but the normal person, naturally, that's the natural phenomena. Over here, there is already oneness. There is nothing to lose actually. Out of ignorance only, I think that I'll lose something, I'll lose my life, etc. So that's what. Okay.
It's this sense of separation.
That's a sense of separation. Yes, that's a ignorance actually. That's ignorance. And here we see that there is a unification. That's a unification. There's a oneness only. Even at a relative world also, there's one unit, and things are interplaying. There is no partition. Partition is made out of my ignorance, and to break that partition, upasana, the sadhana is to break that partition made by me myself out of my own ignorance. I need to break that conditioning with proper understanding also. Yes, and that's why the sadhana is very much important, and the Shruti is also emphasizing the sadhana, this upasana, with help of proper understanding. With help of proper understanding. And that's why explaining through so many verses, so many mantras, that there is a connection, this is how the total is functioning, this is how the individual is functioning. Now, focus over there, concentrate over there, meditate over there. That's the objective basically. Okay, so samanaha vayuhu, vayuhu at total level, and vyanaha at a individual level. Okay, so this is how it is, and still one more is left. Okay, and that's udanaha. See, udana is again given the separate, separate recognition. But because the Shruti wants to say a little more about udana as well, because everybody is curious and rather frightened by death also, Yeah, so just want to know what happens and all, So here also a little more explanation in that line. Okay, because those things we are not worried about, we take it for granted, like prana, apana, vyana, and samana. It's okay. Anyway, it's fine like that, The udana is something special, very mischievous to us, mystery to us. What happens? So that has been taken care of over here. Okay. So here connection we have seen. Before going to udana, okay, I can just check also first and then we can go ahead. I'll just chant the sloka, mantra number 9. Tejo havai udanaha tasmat upashanta tejaha punah bhavam indriyaihi manasi sampadyamanaihi. Okay. Now, what is the total corresponding to the udana? Tejo havai udana. Tejaha. Agni tattvam. Agni tattva. And the speaking of Agni tattva doesn't only mean the fire, but the fire principle. And that fire principle is everywhere in the universe. The fire principle, which we can see in terms of heat at times, in terms of light also, and at times it is dormant. For example, it's dormant in the stick, in the wood, like that, but present everywhere. Okay. So that is a udana at total level. Now, if we look at individual, this all 5 pranas at individual level, pran, apan, vyan, udan, samana. I have just told so many times, 50 times maybe, so it must be like by heart. Pran, apan, vyan, udan, samana. So that makes individual, functional individual. Okay. Same way, at total level, these 5, we say Aditya, Antariksha, Prithvi, Vayu, and now Agni. That makes a at total level individual. It is called Virat Purusha. Virat Purusha. Okay. Virat Purusha. So Virat Purusha is what? That prana expressing through total. Okay. And what is a individual or the human? Prana expressing through this small little body. That's the difference. Okay. This is how it can be seen. So here now this Shruti is talking about the death, because 5 different similes are being told. That the question was that, okay, how that prana beholds this body is been told. How the prana beholds the total, that is also been told. Okay, this way.
Sorry, and fire here is distinguished from sun. Because we could say that
Sun is fire.
sun is fire.
Sun is fire. So sun is here. What happens that the fire is seen as that element through which the consciousness is manifesting. Again, Devata. It is Devata. The Surya Devata are different, Fire Devata are different, Agni Devata are different. That way. Fire element is there in the sun also. There's no doubt about it. Okay. But that function is different. Okay. This is how distinction is made. So, having said this pair of 5 at individual and total level, that Upanishad also wants to explain that one more question which was asked as a pack of 6. Katham utkramante. How the prana departs this body. How prana departs this body. Katham prana utkramante. And answer is already given. Earlier we have seen that through Sushumna Nadi, Ekaya Nadya, that through Sushumna Nadi one departs through this Brahmarandra, or the top of the skull. Okay, that we have seen. But now here, the Shruti is giving little more explanation in that line. That Mrityu Kala, at that time, what is the Prana Sthiti? Okay, so all 5, out of 5, the 4 becomes slowly becomes dormant. The respirative also becomes harder, digestion very harder, excretion also the same, the circulation also becomes very loose and all, and we also see as the aging, especially not only aging, as the time comes, this particular functions becomes very weak, except one, and that is a Udana. Except one, there is a Udana, and Udana becomes all of a sudden activated. Now my turn, like that. Lifelong you have played around, now I'll play. Now my turn. And Udana, what Udana does, or what happens over there in terms in area of prana, there is a gradual, or depends, how system goes, pack up. All the pack up happens. So rest of all pranas slowly start folding up. Okay. Even the different faculties also start folding up. The hearing, seeing, tasting, etc. starts folding up. Okay. And how fast? It depends that how early we got the notice. Say we need to go out somewhere, and we got the notice couple days back, so that accordingly we'll start packing. And if we got notice the same day, that afternoon we have to go, then we just rush up, to pack. So the same thing happens over here. But the packing starts basically, So that packing is happening, and then the briefcase is carried by Udana.
If you have a heart attack, there's no time for packing.
There's no time for it goes just like that. Farak. And there is one more indicator. That time indicator. Upashanta tasmat upashanta tejaha. That's beautiful. That body gets cooled down. The body heat, we see that it's getting lower and lower. And that body heat is Udana. Because Udana is now going out. It's ready to pack up, It's not all over everywhere, no. It's just ready to just go out for good. And that's why Upashanta Tejaha. The Teja, or the heat, becomes calmed down. Okay. And what happens? The Udana takes all the subtle body elements, rest of the pranas, different senses, is called organs of perception, organs of action. Okay. This is not literally organ of action, hand. This is a tool for organs of action. Okay, this is external tool. So tool remains here, but the organ of action goes away. So packing up happens, and the Udana exit this particular body, and then there is a zero heat. Then the body, the dead carcass, has zero heat. It sometimes it's frozen down, like that also. And what happens? Punar bhavama. And same, that Udana again goes to the next body. And now the prana enters into the next body, along with all the senses also, along with the mind also. And where it goes, that all entirely depends on the sankalpa, or the thought of mind. See, it is just like that, that if we step out of our house, where we will go? We'll go north, south, we'll go, in a east or west, we'll take bus, we will flight, we will go by car, by walk. What we will do, that all entirely depends on what's there in my plan, what's in my mind, the desire to go out elsewhere, somewhere. The same desire also is there in a jiva while exiting this body. And how to determine, we have so many desires, how to determine which way it will go? So naturally the strongest ambition of ours, okay, which we have entertained throughout life, okay, in that direction the jiva will go, and accordingly will take the body and function. Function means try to fulfill that ambition or desire. Okay, so that will happens. Okay, so as per the nature of sankalpa, the jiva will travel and take another body. Okay, so this is about that individual 5 and total 5. And there are a couple more mantras in this section, or 3 more. I'll chant one more. 10. Yat chittasya ena esha pranam ayati prana tejasa yuktah saha atmana yatha sankalpitam lokam nayati. So as I said just now, that yat chitta purushaha, where mind goes, where this entire the group of all goes, yatha sankalpa or bhavana. So that's the proof, or that's the testimony of reincarnation also. And which way the reincarnation happens? So based on our own vasanas, it's nothing to do with the God, that God has sent me over here and God is unjust, everything. No. Okay, God only blesses what we desire. So beware what you desire of, that's all. It goes that way in the relative world. Okay, and the prana or jivatma, okay, enters in that particular lokam, that particular body one takes. See, loka aspect also is very much interesting. It's not the physical distance. We tend to think of physical distance, that if we step out of this galaxy, step out of this universe, we might enter into another loka, but it's not a physical distance. And thanks to science, now physical distance is also elusive, you know. Physical distance also is not absolute, is relative. Time is also not absolute, is relative. In the theory of Newton, the time was a constant factor which always goes further. Now time is relative, it can go anywhere. That's the current discovery, accepted discovery also. So space and time is relative entirely. Because we are in certain realm right now, which is called human body, we feel this space and time, this particular fashion. Now interesting enough, if the body changes, the tool to perceive also gets changed. And we can see in our relative life also, that the dogs can sense the smell 9 times more than human, right? Okay. It's because it's not the speciality that jiva is having, it's the speciality of the body, the tool is having, you know. So the tool or the instrument of the body makes a difference. Okay. So as the sankalpa, so one gets accordingly that body, and so will be one's own world. Okay. So within particular realm, there is some changes in a world, no, like perception, building and changing, etc. But it has a limit, you know. But if there is a change of body, altogether different realm, different time, different space, different experiences, we come across. So that part is been said here over. Okay, Atmana lokam nayati. No, different loka is been taken by this udana. This udana vayu is also very important for migration, transmigration. Okay, where it takes yatha sankalpitam. Okay, and what about, now question comes, what about the gnani? What about the gnani? Say, we have seen that Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi, Ma Anandamayi, Ramakrishna Paramhans, many great Gurudev, etc. So they left their body, then where their udana went? Okay, so that question also may come up in our mind. So the thing is that udana gets confused at that time, where to go. Because there is no sankalpa of going anywhere else, For individual, for a gnani, for ignorant person, okay, there is some other unfulfilled desire. One wants to fulfill that. One wants to go there, wants to do that, etc. Gnani's understanding is clear that I am everywhere. I have nowhere to go because I am everywhere. Okay. So in that case, udana gets confused. Okay. Where to take this? And there is nothing. There is no individuality over here. Okay. So what happens over there? That local pranas, okay, and total prana become one. There is nowhere to go. There is nowhere to, pack up and exit and go elsewhere. Nothing. And that's the unique, or that's the very, very, very special phenomena happening in area of gnani. Okay. And that we have seen also that how the totality reflects, when the gnani even takes birth, that very mystical phenomena of taking birth of gnani, and another mystical phenomena of just leaving the body. We have to say leaving the body because that's the term we are, used to of. That even in total also things happen. Okay. So I guess that Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi, when he left the body, again that's a so-called kind of left the body. There was a light, it is said, right? Behind the Arunachala mountain.
Comets that went across slowly and then disappeared.
Yes. So that all this mystical phenomena also happens, because there is a oneness already. Already there is a oneness.
This is only our perspective.
Our perspective.
What we see. They don't have that perspective.
They don't have that perspective. They don't have.
For them, there's none of this.
For them, self alone exists. That's all. For them, the self alone exists, and what relative existence is there, it is swapnavat, just like a dream, doesn't exist as a separate existence. That's why it is called play. It is called play. For us it's reality. For us there is a individuality and totality. Okay. So for them there is a oneness, and oneness of what? Consciousness principle. And yes, there is a shadow. This world is a shadow. Like that. So, with that, so for Gnani, there is nowhere to go. There is no point of going anywhere. For Agnani, yes, there is definitely somewhere to go. And Udana takes someone, that particular jiva, as one does sankalpa. And that's why I have seen few people, they are aged, quite aged, sadhakas, and they take Purascharana. Purascharana means the huge anusthana, the big one. like a 25 crore mantras, for example. And they know very well that they cannot finish in this body. But the idea behind taking this huge anusthana or purascharana is that the main sankalpa will be to finish that particular purascharana. That will be the main sankalpa. So whatever he has done in this life, he or she, in this life, the rest, I want to finish it off. That will be the main sankalpa. And accordingly, jayate, accordingly one takes the birth. So most conducive environment to finish that task, finish that unfinished project or job, one will take a birth. Okay. So naturally, most conducive environment for the spiritual upliftment one will get.
Take birth on earth or in that highest loka?
Highest loka, if highest loka is no problem, but if not luck, there's no much luck over there, and no chance of entry in the earth also, but also the most conducive environment. The parents who are spiritual minded, they value more religion and spirituality than materialism. The environment is such, So not only family, but the environment as well. Or one gets the guru. Any combination, one gets the guru in a very tender age. And then guru says only, do this purascharana. We'll point, okay, do that. That many mantras you do. Ho gaya kam. It goes that way. So any kind of a combination. But the objective is clear. Objective is taken care of. That I want to finish my unfinished job. So such desire is also taken by the sadhaka.
I would have thought that a sadhaka ultimate desire would be to merge in the self.
Definitely. Yeah. Ultimate desire should be there only, and or sadhaka of such caliber also wants that only. But in terms of action, because that particular is very, very abstract, One is trying also, no doubt about it. But in terms of action, one knows that if I am not able to reach there, I want the second best. The second best as per one's own psyche, one's own intelligence might be like this also. Okay. So at least and one knows to certain extent one's own mental makeup. Okay. That I need to stir it and just highlight one particular desire consciously, so that it seeps into my subconscious also, and accordingly I get that particular sankalpa or desire, the last desire kind of, So all these combinations are also been done, because deep inside, the mind is also kind of wandering also, that it's going on here, there, like gala time also a little bit here and all, all this, and it's okay also, so at times, But if you want to galvanize, so this is one of the ways to galvanize. Okay. So in case there is a second birth, okay, maybe the best this way. Or otherwise, okay, that merge with the consciousness, I am that only. Finish, done. And actually the case is, because there's a marana kala, mrityu kala, the topic is going on. Each and every jiva, each and every human being, we talk about then, knows when is his or her last time. Each and every one knows. That's first statement. Now the second statement is that because of our own conditioning and extrovertedness, our own fears, we shoo it away. Or we cover it with different vikalpas also, different thoughts also, and we get confused. But this is how the jiva also gets to know. That's why those who are highly balanced, even not actively spiritual minded, they also get to know. I know of many people that they told that my mother or my grandmother, who she lived in a village, just an ordinary householder life she lived, helped others, served others, and all that. That's all, nothing much. But she knew that, okay, after 3 days I'm gonna go. And called surrounding people. Sometimes unknowingly they do that. And sometimes knowingly they do that. Call all their loved ones and just talk to them, feed them, or give them some gifts, what they want, etc. And okay, khatam. Now all the transactions over, I'm gonna go. That also happens. What is the basis? The basis that the jiva knows that now is the time to exit, time to go. That's the one. So that's the important one. The second, that's the exit time. The second, jiva also knows what is my type of constitution. If we get confused with many other things, sometimes name and fame, sometimes, the extroverted, wandering nature, we get confused, we don't know. But yes, we know that what kind of the caliber, the type I'm having, what different vasanas just creep up in my mind. So something I need to counter, something I need to encourage. So that accordingly, unknowingly, some people take proper decision, and better do take decisions consciously. Okay, So for example, somebody says, okay, I want to live my rest of my life at bank of Ganga. I won't leave Ganga. Somebody says, I won't leave Narmada or Himalaya. Okay. So that what happens, that particular type of vasana or sanskara gets the boost. It's not that person doesn't have the other sanskaras. Might be there. We are talking about that person, individual. But one is discouraging them. Again, conscious living is very much necessary. So there should not be uprooting also. That's also the case. Okay. So all this combination or conscious combination one exercises, for the better second chance. Okay. So that's what about it. I'll go further. So basically, the main purpose of explaining all this by Upanishad, Piplada Rishi and us, the disciples asking question, that we perform this prana upasana. We identify and be aware. Eventually, effortlessly be aware about the oneness between individual and the total. And for that, purposeful, conscious efforts for long time is needed. Long time or short time, it depends on us only. That we can put it aside. But till we get this oneness, we need to do upasana. We can put it that way. That is necessary. Okay. Okay. So this prana upasana is also called a samashti upasana, or also called hiranya garbha upasana. I told earlier that that the person is doing Hanuman upasana, person is doing Shivji's upasana. Okay, so in a relative plane, when we are talking about the relative plane, all this upasana leads individual to this level of hiranya garbha. The consciousness manifesting through total. Okay, that level. Okay. And from there is a jump higher. Okay. So at least we need to get rid of this cage, basically this conditioning that I am this only, 5 feet, 6 feet, etc. And then my 1, 2, 3, 4 people, and then my objects, my bank balance, etc. That is hurting like anything. Yes. So at one end we hold on to this, and second end we want to just ride into infinite, that's quite not possible. Yes. And holding on means that from within we have grabbed it. From within we have grabbed it. So within we just lose the hold or release the hold. That's necessary. For that, if we need to do the same externally, that's fine. Or it's fine without externally, that's also fine. Externally doesn't matter. But if it helps, should do. Simple like that. Okay. And that's why Upanishad says elsewhere, Tyage neke amrutatva manashu. By renouncing only that this immortal element one can get. By renouncing. The immortal can get. One will get immortal. Amruta Tattvam. The renouncing is necessary, say it internal or both. Okay. Okay, so the point is, one should perform this prana upasana, and this way one should identify one's own connection with the total. You know that many people, including some scientists also, I remember Faraday, that he and other people also would sit for longer in a nature and just try to connect with the nature. They would just forget themselves, means individuality basically, and just be like with the nature, you know. And it is said that from there the Faraday got this the hidden mysteries of the nature, and he experimented and he derived certain laws. He's a great scientist, one of the great scientists. You know.
Well, Newton, of course.
Newton also.
Nature and he got the apple.
Yeah. And the thought, what happened? Why this down?
Really a true story, I don't
Yes. Yeah, miss, it's very famous, so we just take it as a true, that's fine. So the point is that anyhow or somehow, you know, there is a phrase called forget yourself. Means what? Forget this individuality, merge with the total, you know, and just release the inner hold which is blocking this particular efforts, like that. Okay, now there are a couple, right? One more. Couple more mantras now. 11. Okay, the 11 is very interesting. Ya evam vidvan pranam veda nahi asya praja hi yante amruto bhavati tadesha shlokaha. Now this Shruti is talking about this upasana, one who does the prana upasana, and not just merely doing some action, but with this proper understanding, one is sinking that understanding into one's own psyche. And for that, one does a particular type of sadhana as a helping aid. Okay. Such person is called Vidwan by Shruti. Vidwan, Brahma Vidwan, not Prana Vidwan. Okay. So one has diluted one's own, the barrier which is between him and total. There is no him and total, now one, and apparent him, apparent total, like that. Okay. So that way Veda means here upasate. That way one has transformed oneself. What's the result? What is the phalam? Now see, person is not a gnani here. Okay. Person has done this big upasana. What's the phalam? So two phalam is said. Phalam 1, in this life, phalam is result. Asya praja na hiyante. Such that person's children, there is no premature death. It's called apamrityu. They get That person gets a longevity, no issue, but their surrounding also. The prana is blessing, because prana beholds this life. There is a blessing of prana. In our relative world also we see that if some minister is very close to me or pleased on me, naturally will shower some 1 or 2 grants also easily. Okay, that license I give it to you. Enjoy. So that happens in a relative world also. The same here also. Say, for example, the Lakshmi Devi. So grants what? The money. Okay, or different kind of a Shri. Saraswati Devi grants what? Knowledge. So you say here prana. Grants what? Prana is what? Life. Grants life. Long life. Okay, enjoy the long life like that. Okay, and no premature death. Okay, that definitely doesn't come. Okay, longer life and and entertains longer life, no doubt about it. But once the praja, once the sons and daughters, see, now we see here, person is a householder. So that also enjoy the long life, blessed by his or father or mother. Okay, so that is a phala or result in this loka. Now there is a paraloka phala, because now we are just looking at here the person who has connected with the total, but still the absolute Brahman consciousness principle is not, one has become one with. Okay, so naturally person will die at some time. Okay, because the prarabdha over, etc. What is the result? Amrutaha bhavati, becomes immortal. Which way immortal? Relative immortal. One goes to the highest loka, Brahma loka. Okay, and that highest loka or highest realm of existence is such there is no returning back. And from there, over there, one finishes the rest of this one's own sadhana, rest of one's own inquiry, which is called self-inquiry, and finishes is the rest of the journey and merges with the infinite, becomes infinite. Satyam Gnanam Anantam Brahma. Like that. Okay. So that way Amrutatvam. So Brahmaloka Prapti is a apekshika or relative immortality or pending immortality. Go there, gain the knowledge, which is the best environment over there. Okay, for the gaining the knowledge, one gains the knowledge and one becomes immortal. Then there is a absolute or actual immortality one gains. So that highest phala, highest result while living and after death, this person gets. Okay. And see, our mind might think, okay, but it's better to just be one with the infinite here only, na? Better we do that. So we can, okay, that's fine, hypothetically. But are we able to, focus accordingly? Are we able to unite or make a worthwhile effort, proper due effort for merging with infinite? What is our ability? Now, mostly we have to self-assess. We need to self-assess all these things, Or else definitely Guru can also help us and just guide. But as I remember Paramahansa Yogananda, he says that the current is the era, most of the people has to live without a live Guru. Okay. Without a personal Guru. Like that. So in that case, things are different. One has to self-assess, and always the scriptures are there to guide. We need to just go towards the scriptures with the student attitude. We get the answers also. And indicators are a lot, in a plenty, that which caliber we belong to. And we need to follow accordingly. That's one. So those who perform this kind of upasana, merging with the infinite, relative infinite. Okay. Because cosmos is also not just that much only room. Okay, so relative infinite, that itself is also a huge thing. It's not a small thing at all. It's a huge.
Sounds like a good deal.
Sounds like a, yes, not bad at all, because that absolute infinite is so abstract, we cannot even fathom. Our intellect never can fathom. I remember Bhagwan Raman Maharshi says that, okay, how you can define the deep sleep? All you can know that, okay, just let yourself go, and that takes over. It takes over. Here, with help of scriptures and great masters, we know about absolute infinite. Otherwise, our intellect cannot fathom. Intellect needs the help of relativity in order to understand to whatever extent. That's also the fact. Yeah, so that way. Otherwise, the spirituality partly or whatever extent might become imagination. It's not imagination at all, actually. So that's why the Shruti is giving knowledge of oneness, self-knowledge. That's the only purport of the Shruti or Upanishad. The Shruti don't endorse even any kind of action as well. No matter how holy, how selfless is, no. Only knowledge. But Shruti also endorses, subscribes, prescribes the upasanas. Why? Because we need the intellect, worthy intellect, so that we can merge with infinite, we can appreciate that also. Okay.
They were described two types of sadhaka. One who learns that he will get moksha within 5 births and he's miserable. And the other one who says, oh, I will have moksha after 10,000 births. I'm really happy.
Yes, that's the attitude.
Categories.
Yes, there are two categories. That's the attitude, how we should look at, Yeah, so just keep doing, whatever is right in front, or what my current caliber is accordingly, So yes, that should be the case, Sometimes in this area also we become unnecessarily greedy. Oh, that is better. So let's just plug that only. So
it's also connected with surrender as well.
Yes, with the surrender also.
When you accept where you are.
Exactly. When you accept what you are and what the higher is guiding, so naturally we fall in the right place. We fall in the right order, right kind of a practice. Right means a due practice, what I am deserving, for the going to the next level. What is needed, yes, like that. So that is important, and that's why the sincere and the great sadhakas are also great upasakas as well. They do one or another type of upasana also. Okay, so it has a lot of significance.
The old story of the glass is half empty or half full.
Yes, like that. Okay, so here in this mantra, in this way, the mantra, the Shruti is talking that okay, one does successfully prana upasana will get glorious result in this life and life after. And there is the last mantra. Last mantra is nothing but the summarization only. I'll chant. Utpattim ayati sthanam vibhutvam cha eva panchadha adhyatmam cha eva pranasya vignaya amrutam ashnuse vignaya amrutam asnuta iti. Now the details about the questions which are being asked by the disciples. Utpattim means atmana esha prana jayate yatha purushe chhaya. So how that prana was born? Ayati means how the prana enters this body. So manokrutena, we have seen, by our own sankalpa, that desire. Sthanam, the positioning, how prana stays in this body. We have seen that 5 different subdivision total. And vibhutvam, or Bhashyakar says prabhutvam, like power, how that prana rules the individual and the total also. Panchadha sthapanam, like subdivided into 5, and at individual and total level, what is the bifurcation for understanding of 5? That also we have seen. 1, Vignaya. Vignaya means having known it properly, and one has meditated upon this particular union this way, properly. Upasana means meditation. Okay, there is an element of meditation over here. Upasana has a less element of actions, or least element of actions. There may be, depending upon what kind of upasana is. But the more dominating aspect would be the meditation. But the meditation in the realm of the relativity. Here, like a oneness of individual and total. I want to meditate over there, that way. Okay. So one who has done this kind of upasana, one who has known Vignaya, Amrutam Ashnute, Amrutam Ashnute. So that's the declaration of the Upanishad. The one who has known this properly becomes immortal. Becomes immortal. And it's called Apekshika Mukti or Krama Mukti. There is a Mukti, or the freedom is of 2 types. It's been explained in a 2-way rather. Explained in the scriptures. One is that Sadhya Mukti, means here and now, while living in this body, one is free from this ignorance and its children. Okay, one is free. The person is called Jivan Mukta or Gnani. And the second best, what you said just like, second best is what? So, is a Krama Mukti, means one has done great deal, but still has not reached to the final destination. So there is a Jivatva, and there is, after death one goes to the Brahma Loka. Over there one gains the self-knowledge, and one becomes a free.
How do you call this one?
Krama Mukti, Krama, a sequence. So partly here a job is done, and partly, or the rest of the job is done in a Satya Loka or Brahma Loka. So Krama Mukti and Sadhya Mukti. Sadhya means here only is done. One has reached a destination, or one has reached nowhere, means everywhere. Okay, so I guess here this particular query is answered. So like a pack of 6 questions in one is been answered by the Pipala, the Rishi. So I guess we can keep it till here only, so that next query we can see freshly. Because now next query, query 4, is talking about something else. Now there is a self-inquiry area we are entering into. Now there are 3 more queries, 4, 5 and 6. Okay. So Prana Upasana is done. Prana Upasana is explained fully. Significance of Prana and Prana Upasana also. What is the result also? That has been given also here. Now we move on. The Shruti is now taking us further in the area of inquiry into the self, again with help of something else. But now there is a direct inquiry of the self that we are moving towards. Okay, that we'll see in next session. Okay, Purnamada. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om. Hari Om. Jai Ma.